Austin is what you get when Nashville and Portland have a baby.
Pretty much, yeah.
Welcome to amorephillyunion, the podcast where we share our love for the Union, for soccer, and all those things that unite us as fans of the game and of each other. We are your hosts. I'm E.
I'm C.
And I'm Paul.
All right, well, let's jump into a little housekeeping, bookkeeping. Maybe that's a better word for it. Up front. We are setting a season goal for us in the Help Us Help the Youth challenge. So we'll still do some weekly things, but we do want to set a larger goal for the whole season. We are cruising along fairly nicely with the number of downloads, so we're going to bring that back for this season, and we're going to set our goal a little higher this season to 3,000 downloads. And once we hit that 3,000 download mark, we will make another donation to the Philadelphia Union Foundation.
Where are we at now?
We are currently at 1,778 downloads. So
nice.
Traffic has definitely been picking up a little bit. So 3,000 seems like a reasonable number to shoot for. I think we're actually hopefully pretty likely to hit that in a reasonable amount of time. So that's where we're at.
Help the U and
help us help the U.
That's right.
By just doing what you've been doing all along and give us a download and give us a listen. And of course, if you want to help the Philadelphia Union Foundation, you can do so. You can just go directly to their website, which is www.philadelphiaunionfoundation.org, and click on that donate button and tell them we sent you. Tell them More Philly Union sent you. And actually, we do hope to touch base with them a little bit later in the season and bring Alyssa back on or anyone else, but we'll keep you guys posted. All right, well, let's get into the game. So the Union were down in Austin this past weekend, and it's actually, in some respects, it was a quiet week because we only had one game to worry about.
It's kind of nice.
It was kind of nice. So Austin Union, first MLS meetup, which I didn't realize that was our first time playing each other.
Mm-hmm.
Day before St. Patrick's Day.
And color-wise, it was on point, man. That place is
aggressively
a
green.
Symphony of green.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? Go.
I enjoyed the game. This was an entertaining game.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's jumping to the end. It was a tie.
Yep.
Union still haven't lost a game in MLS. Of course, they still haven't won a game in MLS competition, but they did put up 4 goals. 2 of those were scored within a minute of each other. Unfortunately, there were 2 goals scored by Austin. But no, I mean, I thought it was I don't know. Do you guys think the rest of the league just seems not to like playing against the Union? It just feels like every game is getting chippy.
Yeah. This Austin game definitely got chippy.
Yeah, there was, and I don't know his name, but one of the Austin team members was pumped and upset at, I think, Martinez. Maybe there's no surprise there. But I'm not. When they did the replay, it really looked like he sold the foul, but there may have been some post talk, some crap talking.
Oh yes,
keeping it kid friendly going on. So yeah, I mean, it does kind of seem like there's a
lot of extracurricular activity going on in Union games.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem to matter who we play against. I mean, heck, this is the first time they've ever played against Austin, and already they were at each other quite early in this game and throughout the game. Now it wasn't as bad as the Pachuca game or some of the other games, but still, it just feels like maybe the other teams that the Union are playing are trying to muck it up a bunch because they don't play the Union at full speed.
Yeah.
But it just feels like there's a lot of that going on in the Union game so far this season.
So it also seemed to me like we had a lot of late challenges, which we got called on.
Yeah, that's true.
But I was wondering if maybe that was upsetting
I'm sure.
Austin as well. So I mean, we
Yeah, I
got
mean,
a good number of cards in this game.
just because they're getting called for the fouls doesn't mean that Austin players aren't going to be upset about the
That's
fouls
right.
happening in the first
That's
place.
right.
It's like a chicken and the egg thing, right? Is the game getting chippy because the way we're playing, or are we playing that way because the game is getting chippy? Yeah, there were definitely a lot of messy tackles, and yeah, I mean, it was an exciting game, that's for sure. But Paul, to your point, chippy is a good way to describe it.
I mean, Martinez certainly had his work cut out for him in this game because he was all over the field. I think he actually managed to avoid getting a card in this game, if I remember correctly.
No, he got a card.
No, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I thinking?
Come on.
It was later than you might have thought. It was
Yes.
later than you might have thought. There were opportunities earlier that he could have
Yeah.
probably gotten one, but no, it was. I think even Elliot ended up getting a card in this game, if I'm not mistaken. Which again, Elliot gets a lot of. You gotta watch, man. He gets more cards than you think.
He does.
Like I'm not talking Martinez level necessarily, but like, yeah, he just is so unassuming, and yet.
Was this one kind of personal, or was it more professional kind of a foul that he got the card for?
I'll be honest, I'm not sure what he got called for in the end.
Okay, yeah, it's been a couple of days, and I can't really remember. I feel like this one, I feel like he caught the foul. It was clearly he caught the guy, but he just kind of got up and walked back to where he needed to be. Like he knew he was going to get the card and didn't really care.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like he really didn't respond when he got the card.
Yeah.
There was no
surprise.
Yeah, it's like
no argument.
Yeah.
No.
It wasn't a Kai Wagner response to getting the card. What do you mean I took his leg off?
You're right.
Exactly. Martinez.
Yeah. No, it was just like, yep, okay, let's keep going. I mean, it was also late in the game, so I think it was sort of like, I'm not going to bother at this stage.
Well, in terms of the lineup, I guess there's a couple things of note, right? Starting this game off. I mean, for starters, no Glesnes.
Who was on the bench, so it wasn't even, I mean, maybe there's a strain or something like that, but there's no official injury, I wouldn't think, if he's on the bench.
I wonder if it's even just rotation.
Yeah.
Like Curtin's actually rotating the three center backs a bit.
Yeah. I mean, you think the fact that we don't have to worry about Champions Cup or Open Cup or any of the other tournaments, and we're just doing MLS.
Or maybe it was Curtin was upset with Glesnes for how he played in the last game or two.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, hey, you know what, bud? It's time to sit down.
Yeah. And knowing Glesnes, he's probably like, I completely agree with you, coach. I think your decision is a good one. I'm here to support how you run this team, and I will do my part. That dude rules.
Norway.
I feel like there were some other notable.
Well, Mbaizo didn't play, right? Harriel started out right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, he did. Sorry, I was shaking my head to those at home.
Right, so
I was wrong.
Martinez with the base, at the base. You had and then Gazdag up top, and then it was still Ora and Carranza. It was good to see Carranza get back into the start. Hopefully that means that he's back to full health.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think really the only change was the center backs, and then Harriel, who arguably is the starting right back at this point. Like it seems like Curtin has more trust in Harriel, and he seems to be getting forward well up that right side.
Yeah, actually, I agree, because I remember between Harriel and Sullivan, two things of note about Sullivan. One, he's almost like in a sweeper position. He just really seems to be bouncing back and forth between the left and right side of the field.
Mm-hmm.
He's got jets that'll run all game. Yeah, I mean,
Looks
he's
good
always
to be 19 or 20 or whatever.
Yeah, well, when you're full of Chrissy, what's the saying? Right?
Piss and vinegar.
That and was it rubber and magic?
Rubber and magic, yeah.
So, but I remember like Harriel and Sullivan connecting a lot, on that wing there, and really helping move the ball up the wing. And then also, second note is, I guess we'll call it the Sullivan, the new, well, not new, but at least on the Union, the commitment to wearing the hiked up shorts.
Oh my goodness. He takes it to another level. Like Martinez does it, Gazdag does it a little bit. But Sullivan may as well be wearing boy shorts out there.
Which is funny because okay, so
Side note.
I had a friend who was at the game.
Sidebar.
And she is more or less a neutral. But she lives in Austin, and this was her first ever. I don't know if it was her first ever soccer game, or first ever professional soccer game. So I was giving her tips, and then when we found out, we realized Philly was the opponent. I gave her some info about who to look for on the team, and I had told her about Ali and Carranza and Martinez, and she's like, "But you didn't tell me about Sullivan." I'm like, "What?" She's like, hiking up his shorts the whole time.
Yeah.
So she was very excited about that until she found out he was 19, and then she felt like a creep.
They may as well bring back the 1970s style shorts and let Sullivan and Martinez wear those.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because for a while it seemed like, I mean, we're definitely digressing here, but it seemed like the fashion. Well, I know we've never done it before. The fashion was to pull up one leg.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Cristiano Ronaldo did that a lot.
Yeah. So I don't know what that's about, but yeah, no.
That's for their kicking leg. It gives their kicking leg more freedom.
That's right.
I don't know, maybe.
Why not? But yeah, Sullivan would definitely prefer to
Sullivan
be
may as well
pantsless.
tuck him up with his, I don't know what underwear he wears or whatever, but he may as well just tuck him into that.
I mean,
just make him some union
whatever
undies.
works. He's playing really well.
He was on fire, I thought. He really
even
was.
as a sub in this game, he was still a big motor up top.
Well, I think Sullivan is like
he
quickly
wasn't a
turning.
sub. He started.
Yeah, Sullivan started.
Just to clear.
So did McGlynn not start?
No, McGlynn did start.
McGlynn did start.
So did who just
now
sat?
Sullivan was subbed out for Donovan, but late in the game. But Sullivan did start.
Well, we couldn't have had Martinez, Sullivan, McGlynn, Bedoya, and Gazdag in the four-person midfield.
That's right. Bedoya did not start.
Bedoya did not start. Okay. I
thought he did. Okay.
I was right.
Yeah.
I only say that because I'm usually not. But
and by the way, I'm only enlightened because I've pulled up the start.
Yeah, somebody has to be looking at
let's go ahead and
actually looking at our show notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah. So Bedoya replaced Ura, which was interesting.
Well, I think that's what it was. Is Sullivan was kind of playing outright, and so then I assumed when Bedoya came on, Sullivan shifted up top, but not really. He didn't all over the place.
He just went to plaid. That was a bad.
I just shifted my pants.
Amorephillyunion.
Okay.
Guys,
we're not even
shift your
recording
pants.
We're not even recording this as late as usual, and this is happening. Maybe we should.
Recording.
I don't know. We haven't found the sweet recording time yet.
But I am properly caffeinated, so that's
same.
Yeah, but we're all in good spirits here. This is okay. It's in good energy for this podcast. No, that's right. So that's right. So Bedoya started on the bench, and then Sullivan was out right of the block of the diamond, and McGlynn out left. Although, like you said, they definitely seem to shift a lot. But let's talk about some of the goals here. So first off,
this goals. Yeah.
The Union did get a penalty kick in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
What was the penalty call?
Handball.
Yeah. And at first it was a little nebulous. The replays weren't totally clear, but then when they, after a few
was this the one that was like close to the edge of the top of the 18?
Yes.
Yeah, but on the replay they had a really good side camera shot of it, and the guy was clearly inside the penalty box. So really the only question was his hand in an unnatural position and all those, all those tidbits.
Yeah, so it was off of a restart. There was kind of a little trick restart outside the box. The Austin players drove at the ball, and I don't know, was it Mark Wagner or who took the shot?
I think it was
Gazdag.
Wagner. Oh, Gazdag took it? Okay.
Yeah, it was Gazdag.
And then it went off one of the Austin defenders and got called. Man, can we just Gazdag is just like Iceman. He's just so cold, taking those penalty kicks. Nothing seems to shake him. Now, this said, I'm preempting all of this by saying at some point he will miss a penalty kick. He will have one saved. He will miss the goal. This is bound to happen.
Just like if you have a room full of monkeys, you'll eventually get the works of Shakespeare.
Well, let's hope it takes that long for him to miss one. But yeah, he's really just clinical up there, and I don't know what he does to get the keepers to keep guessing wrong, but keep it up, Daniel. It was well taken, well struck, and like just the other team just continued to get in his face, and he just stands there with the ball under his arm, waits for them to get moved back, and keep going with their whatever shenanigans they're doing, and yeah, that was just clean. I think I heard that he's like one of like either the first or like one of three MLS players who has scored 20 straight
Wow.
PKs.
Wow.
No, glad he's on our side.
Yeah, right. He's definitely challenging the laws of statistics, which hey. Again,
Now, if
another
only he could take all 5 if we get in that situation.
yeah. Like he comes out, he takes the first PK, right? Comes out. Next you see a guy come out, he's wearing like the glasses, the nose, and the mustache, takes a shot. Comes out, he's wearing like a wig, takes a shot. And actually then the camera cuts over and we really do have a whole lineup of guys that look all the same. Just wearing
Gazdag, Gazdag, Gazdag,
yeah.
Mazdog.
Next time he comes back, his shorts are hiked up super high and tucked up. Yeah, no, that was a well taken free kick, and the Union, seemed to be on the front foot there in the first half.
Yeah,
I would say that was the other thing is like they seemed, even though they were playing away, they were controlling this game.
Yes, I agree.
Very much so.
It was a back and forth game, exciting, but I felt like it was they were playing the game they wanted to play.
The first half, was mostly in Austin's half. So which was so nice to see and surprising to me because I thought I had seen the score. We watched this a few days after it happened, and I thought I had seen the score, and I wasn't expecting that because I actually thought we lost this game going into it, but apparently I had misread what I saw or misinterpreted it at least. So yeah, it was nice to see them so on the front foot outside of our own stadium.
Yeah. And so the Union, so at the first half, the Union were up 1-0, which was a good position to be in at the half. And I'm being very much like John Madden when I'm just stating the obvious, but still.
Boom.
So we had a good 45 or so minutes. And then
the wheels fell off a little bit.
The wheels fell off a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty early in the second half where Austin equalized. It did feel like these goals were a lapse in defense on our part.
I wonder what caused the mental lapse. I know they lost to Pachuca in the midweek, so up until now they've had pretty consistent games. But yeah, it did feel like, I don't know if it was a lack of communication, but there was a miss as to who was picking up which defender, who was stepping into what spaces, and Austin took advantage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think, Christy, you had made a note here in our notes that in terms of predictions or hopes and expectations, none of us got it right. And one of the things I remember, I think, Paul, you had mentioned this, was you wanted to see our defense kind of re-solidify and shut down the other team's attack. I wanted to see us rack up some goals as well. And, and that did not happen.
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah. The options Paul gave us just as hypotheticals last week. Would you prefer 1-0 win or a 4-2 win? So would you rather see them get together on defense and have a low score, or have a high score and not necessarily have together on defense? So everybody lost.
Yeah, Austin got to celebrate St. Patrick's Day nicely with two goals and turn the stadium green.
Holy cow.
That was very impressive on TV. Actually, I thought that Apple had put a filter on or something. I really did not comprehend at first what was happening. And, again, my friend on the ground said that it was the coolest things you'd ever seen. Like basically all the lights go off except for green floodlights.
That's cool.
Shoots there was amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Is
I mean,
that
that's
is
pretty
that an
impressive.
indoor stadium?
Ooh, that's a good question. I wouldn't be surprised if it was. I
Yeah,
mean, I
right.
know the baseball stadiums certainly are, but I didn't look like it though, now
No,
that
it
I'm
didn't.
thinking about it. So I don't think so. I'm gonna say no, but it's a little bit bigger than ours. I think it seats about 20 plus, where I think what is ours, like 18 plus.
Yeah.
So not drastically bigger, but
I'm
definitely a
doing
little
the
bit bigger.
producer's role here, and I'm going to their website. I'm going to look that up while we talk.
But yeah, I did think that the green lighting was very effective. And that's
Mhm.
why I was wondering if it was indoor, because there wasn't a lot of external lighting that would have competed
Mhm.
with the colors that they were putting out there. But it was pretty neat. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously green, what are they? Green and black, I think
green and
Austin
black, yeah.
is. So
Or
Hmm.
the Verde and black, as they kept saying on the commentary, which I thought I wanted them to refer to the Union as the Azul and Gold.
Well, and apparently they do about half of their songs and chants in Spanish, so it's definitely a bilingual
Oh, okay.
situation
Well, that
going on
works.
there, which is, yeah. I mean, for Texas, that's a nice combination, and also very loud and very musical, which is a little bit more like some of the Mexican, especially the music part, and like the Mex games I've seen played in Mexico. I shouldn't say that they're
Mhm.
all Mexico national team or anything. I've seen some of the others as well, some of the league
And
teams.
I imagine that also harkens back to Austin. Austin is a pretty big music town.
That's true
True.
too.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
not Nashville big, but it is a big music town.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's like Austin is what you get when Nashville and Portland have a baby.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's another keep it weird town. So
Yeah.
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 Keep it
So
weird.
keep it weird.
Amorephillyunion.
Yep.
So
Anyway.
yeah. So anyway, Austin goes up 2-1 against the Union.
And then right after that, I don't know if you guys caught this, but a player from Austin went down independent of anybody else, and was holding his leg. And
Mhm.
it was just one of those, I imagine it's an upsetting injury. Especially if you know his story, was he had a torn ACL last year and only played 6 games and had just come back.
Oh,
And now he was down holding his what appeared to be his hamstring. Who knows? It could be maybe he wasn't ready to come back and he came back. I don't know
Yeah.
enough about it, but it's just one of those upsetting things I think for everyone. Like even when he came off the field, like Jim Curtin kind of clapped him on
oh
the
yeah.
shoulder, because you could just see how disheartened he was. So because clearly it looked like he was walking okay, but he wasn't ready to play, and I'm sure that's very upsetting. So after the goals and that was, it kind of felt like we lost to me personally, it felt like we lost the thread, except for, of course, the equalizer, which we can jump to if you want. But I
Yeah.
kind of felt like those were sort of 3 markers that took some wind out of sails.
Well, let's talk about Aurora's goal.
There you go.
You
Okay.
know, the Union got back into this one late, a little bit later. Not in stoppage time. When did this goal happen?
I have it as the 65th minute.
Yeah.
65th minute. So not long after they gave up the 2 goals, the Union struck back, so they didn't totally have their heads hung. What I remember about this one is seeing Harriel make the run.
Hmm.
Um, there was a build-up on the play. Harriel made a run, got the ball out wide, played it across the middle. There was at least 2 Union players made a play for it. Got past the first Union player, which seemed to take the Austin keeper out of it, and then Aura was there for the put away. And it was well worked goal, good team goal. Looked like something that they've been working on off the training pitch, basically.
This is the one where Harriel initiated with the kind of that quick pass across the box.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta say, like with this goal, like 2 things. One, Aura is slowly, he seems to be producing goals in games. It feels
Mhm.
like it's a little bit more of a
More
better
involvement.
pace this season. in terms of his, what they call it, his goal production.
Right.
But then again, the second thing is, again, Harriel, and I think Sullivan was already subbed out by this point, but Harriel is kind of like the defense version of McGlynn this year. He's still carrying that momentum from last year into this year, and he's producing like these just opportunities, especially on the wing like that.
Yep.
So that is kind of nice to see, that attacking defender position. And I do have
Yeah, I
another
agree.
thought.
I agree. Harriel seems to be building all three of the young players from the Union Academy this year. They're building on what they did last year. I mean, obviously, Sullivan's probably getting the most notice just because, he's an attacker. They tend
And the
to-
shorts.
and the shorts. Harriel has really stepped up his attacking out of the defense. He was noted last year as probably, I remember Curtin at one point in one of his interviews actually said Harriel might be the best one-on-one defender on the team, which, going up with Gillespie and Elliott and Wagner, that's saying something. And it seems like he's added an attacking aspect to his game, which is new, and proving effective. Interestingly, though, I do find it. I find it interesting that McGlynn seems the most quiet out of the three of them so far this season.
He is.
He came out big last season.
Mhm.
Really stepped up and seemed to take the league by storm a bit as far as the Union Young Guns. But this year he seems to be doing well. He's doing well. He's very consistent, very good.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Hey, we have a special guest on this week's podcast. We're going to welcome Siri. Siri, what did you think of the Austin Union game?
That was a little creepy. No, yeah, but McGlynn, he still has those wonderful passes. His long range passes off his left foot are amazing. But of the three of the young players out of the Unions, their academy right now, he seems to be performing well. But of the three, the least impressive so far
McGlynn.
to start the season. McGlynn,
Yeah. His guns are quiet right now.
I don't expect it to stay that way all season.
Yeah,
But
maybe he's got to start hiking his shorts up.
could be.
But I was wondering, actually, Paul, were you? I mean,
Do you want me to rant on something? Go ahead, give me the topic.
a tie is a disappointment for anyone, although it's better than a loss. But your goal has been for them to shore up the defense, and I mean, I saw a lot of other commentators kind of saying the same thing. So
Well,
I was wondering,
hopping
since
off
It was it was
You thought
2
of
minutes of defensive mental breakdown is what
Yeah.
what that
Mhm.
was. Some of that could be attributed to as many games as they have played so far this season.
Mhm.
So we'll see what comes out this coming weekend. If they've had a week off without a midweek game, are they mentally better prepared to take this on? Or was it something that Austin did? I don't know. I should probably rewatch that sequence. But the fact that it was 2 goals in that tight of a timeline, I'm hopeful that it was, especially since the Union stayed in the game, found a way to get the tying goal, and had time to win this, even though they didn't. But yeah, I am still concerned. Like, defense wins championships.
Yeah.
And, they're going to be without a ton of players this week, with the next little while here, with the international break going on.
Mhm.
Arguably, I think the Union are I haven't looked over the rest of the MLS teams, but the Union seem to have seem to be losing the most starters out of any MLS team. Like, they're not losing all 11, but it's close.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know?
No, it's a lot. When you say that, do you mean that they sort of had a momentary, or maybe two
Yeah.
momentary breakdowns?
Yeah.
Like somebody just had a moment.
Communication wasn't quite there.
Yeah.
The thought process wasn't there. Some of that might be the rotation of the center backs. They don't quite know both left and right center back assignments as to who presses when, who falls back, who covers space, what space they cover. How does Martinez work into that as the defensive midfielder? all of those things at this level, they discuss those things. They know how they want to press and where they want to push
Mhm.
players, where they have the ball go. But there seems to be some mix up, and I'm
Yeah.
hopeful that it was just a mistake that lasted 2 minutes and then they locked things down. I'm not enough of a soccer guru to be able to watch this game once and know that off, that from that single viewing. Um, yeah, but it does worry me,
Mhm.
having Blake and Glesnes and Elliott and Lowe there in that center of the field with Martinez above them. That's a really strong defensive crew, and to keep continuing to give up goals, it's got to be worrying, especially for a former defender like Jim Curtin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it was just an alarming tummy rumble. You don't know. 2 minute long bad patch.
Yeah.
Somebody had bad chili at lunch, and
Tacos will get you, man.
Wait,
I mean,
isn't
that
it?
and the margaritas they were apparently serving in the stadium. So, according to the pictures posted by the union. No, but I mean that's a actually surprisingly heartening take on it, Paul. Thank you. I
yeah, and
sometimes you're a
again,
little more angry, so I wasn't sure what to expect.
no, I mean, and the Union did score a goal in the run of play.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
or a goal was in the run of play.
Right.
It's been a while, I think, since they had scored a goal in run of play, which is a little alarming. But it's at least they had that much on the attack. I guess I'm just too hopeful for this team. They've turned me around over the last few years, especially that to
Yeah.
have some faith, to trust them a bit and see
Yeah.
where they get to. Curtin's a better coach, and his team responds. So we'll see.
Right.
We'll see what happens if they get back to one game a week for a little bit and see how
Yeah.
they recover.
Also, it's March.
It
Yeah.
is.
I mean, we we restarted the podcast, after our break in January, so we've been doing this for a while. But so
Yeah.
it's easy to forget that it really hasn't been that long
Yeah,
that
we're
they've
only
been
what,
playing
3 games in of the
Yep.
season.
4 games.
Well, one got rained out.
Okay, so with the I guess Austin, I don't call it a disappointing tie, but not an exciting tie behind us. We do have some I mean, well,
The game was exciting. It was
The game was exciting. Yeah.
the result,
I
though.
understand your disappointment with it only being a tie,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I would comment like Christy there that it wasn't a disappointing tie.
Well, it was disappointing in that we wanted to see the defense come back. And like Paul, we
True.
just talked about that, the 2 minute window. If you could subtract
Yeah.
2 minutes out of the game,
Yeah.
this would be a completely different game.
Yep.
But anyway, with that said, let's jump into, we got some international call-ups this weekend.
A lot of
A
international.
lot of them,
calls.
yeah. So US has called up Harriel and McGlynn. I think they're playing in theory, or at least elsewhere, while as we speak. We're recording on Thursday evening. Jamaica called up Blake and Lowe.
Mhm.
Hungary called up Gazdag.
Mhm.
Israel called up
Wow.
Baribo. And
Mhm.
Venezuela called up Martinez and Bueno. So kind
Wow.
of the usual suspects
Yeah.
for that, but pretty impressive lineup. Means we have a lot of quality players. Also means we're probably going to be down for the
Quite a bit.
next game, because if I understand correctly, this break runs through the 26th, so which is Tuesday. I don't know that all of them will be gone that full period of time.
I expect that they will.
Yeah.
I would say two kind of surprising non-calls was Mbaizo didn't get called up. I don't know if Cameroon's playing
Right. Yeah.
this break, but Sullivan didn't get called up for the US team. He did in the last round. I mean, that's fine. This is kind of the last run, I think, before the Olympics. Perhaps the coach didn't like the way he wears his shorts.
I was just gonna
I
say
don't
that.
know, but yeah, I mean, it was a little surprising. Certainly McGlynn and Harriel have earned it. I think all of the guys who got the call up have earned those opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Ty Baribo's a little bit of a surprise just because
Yeah.
he hasn't been on the field. So I
Yeah.
don't know. That's just based off his previous work with Israel.
Yeah, I believe he's been called up for Israel before. So,
Yes.
but yeah, it would have been nice if he had called up Sullivan to play instead of Reyna to make him sit on the bench again. But that's a whole other kettle of fish. So,
But I
if you
thought
know, you
that
know.
I thought McGlynn and Harrell got called up for the Olympic squad, not the full national team. Did Reyna
Oh,
get called up to the Olympic squad?
yeah, that I don't know.
I don't know. I don't have that
Okay.
distinguishing information. I just need to make a Reyna joke.
Well, I
Sorry.
mean, especially since, if Reyna's going to end up on the bench, his dad and mom are going to complain about it again.
Don't get me started. Oh man.
Plus, I don't
What
think Burkholder's. He's not managing the Olympic team.
Not the Olympic.
Yeah.
you mean Berhalter,
Yeah, or General Burkholder.
Tom Folletti.
Morgan!
Clink, you idiot.
All right, but no, I mean, I think that's it's quite a crop of call ups. We'll see how they perform for their national team, but I mean that's a lot of starters. Like pretty much the only one out of that group, or two that are in that group that weren't starters, are Baribo and Bueno. And
Yeah.
Bueno was arguably a starter.
Yeah.
It kind of depends on the day.
And
So
let's hope that Portland is having an equal number, if not more, of their starters getting called up as well.
fingers crossed. I doubt it, but
Yeah.
fingers crossed. Yeah. So that of course means that we're playing Portland on this Saturday, the 23rd at 10:30 p.m. Eastern.
Keeping
go
our
from the
tour of green teams going.
Yep.
Yeah. How about it?
What was it? If Nashville and Portland had a baby, it'd be
Yeah.
Austin.
Yeah.
So I guess we're going to.
Yeah. Going from the child to one of the parents
Yep.
of Portland.
And Eric, you've actually been out to see a game
Twice. Yeah.
That's quite a cauldron to go into.
And Christy, you've
Yeah,
been
I
to a
was with
game
for
too.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which we the tickets were purchased for us by someone who didn't know the layout, and we were actually sitting with the away team.
Yeah. We're
fans.
playing Vancouver.
Which is just interesting because it's literally in the middle of the city, the stadium.
It's such a great location.
And we walked there from, if anybody's familiar with Portland, we walked there from essentially Powell's Books. It's a straight shot up one of the roads, and all along the way there were car magnets Vancouver fans had put up on anything that was
Somebody
magnetic.
was absolutely tagging everything with
Yeah.
Vancouver magnets. Which is
So
kind of awesome.
Eric and I pulled them all off. And when we realized where we were sitting, Eric just took them and said, "Here you go,"
Here you go.
and handed them.
I believe these are yours.
I mean, definitely not. I mean, that's one of their bigger rivals, but it was definitely a lot friendlier than, say Red Bulls. And
Yeah, exactly.
It's not Philly,
Yeah.
New York, huh?
Yeah.
no, I mean, we were sitting there and, well, we didn't have jerseys, but we did have scarves, because
Yeah.
we were,
Yep.
when in Rome, and not playing Philly.
Correct.
So it was clear who we were rooting for, but
I think Portland
Minded.
really, when they came into the league, little side note, when they came into the league, they did set the bar for that
Supporters
the
culture.
supporters, the whole stadium vibe. I mean, it's their stadium is a former baseball stadium that's been built up, and the one wall or the one side of the stadium, like at the elevated level, is actually there's a road that goes by there, and the seating is more vertical. It's a steeper slope for their seats, and it is a cauldron. I remember before the Union, came to the league or were given a team for the league. I remember, Paul, I think you and I, we probably talked, and Christy too, when Toronto got their team. And I remember watching their first home game. And that was one of the first games I remember in MLS where the crowd was like European,
On top of the
like
stadium.
loud. Like that was,
Oh, yeah.
it was just, I was like, wow, okay, that is something. And then Portland was like, here, hold my craft beer and we'll show you. because it
Hold my
was
IPA.
exactly. Because holy cow, that place is just rocking. You know, I mean,
Well, I remember the video of you walking out that one time when you were there with your
yeah,
friends, and just the volume as you come out of this
it,
the concourse into
it
the
was,
stands is
yeah,
impressive.
it's an absolute assault on the ears. And Subaru Park can hold its own with the best of them. But Portland, they are doing something special there with that crowd. So that's the only slack I'm cutting Portland here.
Yep.
I want
Yep.
our boys to take it to them. Which reminds me, I have to contact my guy out there in Portland and get our breakfast bet going again.
I will also say that unlike NYCFC, they use the whole field.
Yes. Yes, very true. Very true. And not to mention, was it Timber Joey and just cutting the discs of wood off of that
piece of
that
trunk.
Giant
that
log,
big tree that's actually cool. But anyway, but that's all Portland's getting for me.
That's it.
That's it.
We're done.
Yeah, you're going down, Portland.
Good location, decent, great crowd. But we'll have to see what the Union can do to silence them.
Yeah. Just in terms of, not that this really matters, but after the last weekend's game, Union are down in 13th place in the East. Not great. Again, still early days. No reason to panic.
No losses.
No losses. True. Portland is sitting in 3rd place in the West. So, simple calculus, the fact that it's going to be a home game for Portland, away game for the Union.
Is there really such a thing as simple calculus?
There is.
But you're right.
Yeah.
That Union definitely have an uphill slog this
They just-
weekend,
yeah,
especially
this will be
with
an
as many players missing as they're going to have. They're going to have backups all over the place.
Yeah.
But I
But,
guess they will be able to start Glesnes and Elliott. That would be something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Wagner, I didn't get a call up, and Mbaizo, since he didn't get a call up, they should have a decent defense, at least the starters.
Yeah.
But
so,
what do you think? I wonder what they'll do at this defensive midfield position. If Bueno and Martinez are out, are they going to try Bedoya there? Are they going to bring in Makiana or one of the other players that's supposed to be in that spot?
Yeah, I could see Bedoya getting the Martinez position.
Yeah.
That seems like a natural strategy.
One good thing about Sullivan not getting called up, he could get a shot at playing in the attacking midfield spot.
Mm-hmm.
And Carranza will be around, Oro should be around, so the forwards could be the same. So there's a chance that there's some good starters that are going to be out there.
Yeah, it does feel like our midfield is going to be the most impacted by all these.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that kind of
it's not worth like throwing the baby out with the bathwater just yet, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we definitely have a good team to field.
And it does play well, lend itself to kind of the classic Union strategy of a solid defense and then a counterattack.
Mm-hmm.
Not having the midfield as strong as you like, that will have an effect, but you need a strong defense and you need strong finishers. And that's the least picked over parts of our lineup, possibly.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Curtin does. He likes to limit rotation where possible, but obviously this week he's going to have to make some, and hopefully they get on the same page communication wise.
Yeah.
In a crowded, loud atmosphere like that, it's going to be vital.
Yeah. Okay. Changing gears a little bit right now. Christy, you had sent out this article to us about the refereeing, and as a quick little intro note, I remember when we were watching the Austin game, I just remember thinking like, yeah, it's been quiet on the whole referees union strike, and I haven't heard much. And I guess to be fair, I haven't really seen much on the Apple broadcast, and that probably should not come as a big surprise since they tend to be in bed with the MLS folks. But yeah, Christy, you brought that back up to our attention here about this.
Yeah,
it's still going on, the strike.
That's actually a really good transition because Actually,
Actually,
Well, way to blow it, E.
yeah, I know it was going so well. I
I
was
know.
It
I
was.
way to step on the punchline. Anyway, but yeah, there was a quote from the article. There were a lot of good quotes. Well,
Yeah.
let me clarify that it was an editorial,
Sure.
not strictly an article, like a editorial article, or yeah, not strictly a journalistic article in the sense that definitely opinions in it.
Mhm.
But the quote that stuck with me, well, they talked a lot about how dissatisfied players and the coaches and coaching staffs are with this whole thing. And you mentioned how we haven't heard much on broadcasts again because of Apple, or excuse me, MLS employing the commentators on Apple. It's something we talked about a few
Yeah.
episodes ago. So the quote that I pulled that struck me was, yet it's also clear the league is nervous about the optics. Earlier this month, it sent a memo advising TV and radio broadcasters not to, quote unquote, belabor the point when addressing the lockout. Another quote, fans tune in to watch and listen to the game. They aren't focused on the officials, said the memo, a copy of which was obtained by The Athletic.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Because yes, Paul has often said, especially since his son, our nephew Nate, has started being a ref, that he's kind of reconsidered ref abuse.
Yeah.
And I understand that, and that makes perfect sense. But we're still focused on the officials, very much so, whether you
Yeah.
decide to vocalize that or not.
Yeah.
And it's
And
a
the officials
huge
still
part
have
of
to
the
do
game.
a good
We
job.
still have to do a good job. We have talked about, I have mentioned our family friends, father who was an official, and how I often think of him during games, and our friend who has his own kind of ref-like opinions.
Mhm.
So it just it seems so I don't know, almost this close to gaslighting to say that we're
No,
not.
that's actually a really good way to put it.
Yeah. It's like absolutely paying attention to officials. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
I mean,
So-
the sadly, the Union benefited from some bad officiating in the
Yeah.
Kansas City game, right? That throw in, which was clearly off us, was awarded to us. And then that led to the corner, which led to Ali with this great equalizing goal. I'm not taking away from all that. We played the game the way we should have. But on that replay, it was obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would also think that the league would want to be putting out the best
Yes.
quality product that they can. I hate to call
Yeah.
games like this a product, but part of that is good, solid officiating. People having officials out there who know the rules and enforce the rules equally between both teams. It's like, if you're going to make, there are a lot more subjective rules in soccer. As long as you're playing both teams equally and you're not making any obvious errors, then that's about the best you can hope for. But I believe in this one, in this article, they talk about the impact of VAR so far in this season, that
Yes.
the VAR has overturned it almost twice as much
Yes.
as last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, that tells you that those remember, VAR is only called on in certain instances.
Mhm.
Goals, red card misses, or red card issues, certain, I'm trying to remember the other ones, but those are the two main ones.
Yeah.
And if we're getting those major points wrong, that has a significant impact on the games. Plus, it has a significant impact on the fan enjoyment of the games.
Yeah.
If they just know that they're not going to get the best quality product out there.
Yeah, like every penalty that comes up, immediately we're going to start calling for VAR because we can't trust the refs ruling there on the field.
Yeah.
And apparently both sides of the dispute, like representatives of both sides of the dispute, had agreed in principle on at least a short-term fix, if not a long-term one. And ultimately MLS leadership said no. They're holding out to the bitter end, or at least that's what they say, because I guess that's what you say. But when even your advisors who are representing you are saying, yeah, this is fair and good, and you just are that stubborn. It's another moment of, Garber, what are you doing?
Yeah, like the one quote here in the article from Garver is that if they don't reach a resolution, we are more than prepared to see this all the way through
Mhm.
in terms of, keeping these kind of replacement refs in. And I think we all in agreement, no one's knocking these refs because as the article points out, and we all agree
Yeah.
with, they're brought in. These are not top tier refs because if they were, they would be official MLS refs. They are
They'd be
not
part
used
of
to
pro.
work in this environment. Exactly. So they're doing the best they can. It's kind of like,
Yeah, the article, the editorial, I guess,
Yeah.
goes out of its way to
Yeah.
not blame them. It's not their
Yeah.
fault. They have been thrown into a cauldron
yeah,
without really any preparation to deal with something at this scale.
yeah.
So it's I don't know what, once again, just baffled. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't understand how this is. I
Yeah,
don't know.
what's the advantage
Yeah.
in the holdout? Like, how much are they really asking for? Is it that egregious amount of money that's going to stop you from making even, 2% less money? I don't know. It just,
They said it would come down to about between 95 and $100,000 per team per year. That's
Yeah.
how they broke it out in the article. I'm
Yeah.
not sure why they did it that way, but and they also pointed out when MLS is boasting of record growth and profit, it seems a silly thing.
now don't get me
to
wrong. I
skimp
mean,
on.
MLS has been around since 1996, and it probably hasn't. If it's profitable now, it probably hasn't been profitable for more than like the last 6 years.
Yeah.
But maybe 8 years.
Yeah.
It's certainly for a lot of years they were losing money on the game. But yeah, you would think you would want to continue to make these investments to continue to put out good product. I just don't understand where the structure is. Like,
Yeah.
and then maybe that's part of the problem is that it's not good communication.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
going on? Why isn't this solved?
Yeah. Yeah. And
We have all that messy money now.
well, that's the one thing they talked about. Like now with Messi in the league, which
That
we
was a
all have our-
snarky thing,
Oh, I
by
know.
the way. Just thinking, I know you guys can see my face. I'm just saying that for anybody
Yeah,
who's
yeah, yeah.
listening. I was being snarky. Go
Yeah.
ahead. I'm
He's
sorry.
providing closed captioning, the audio plus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or we're gonna have to do
That's
like
behind the paywall.
yeah, we're gonna do a DVD commentary on our episodes.
Yeah.
But no, Chris, I mean, dovetailing on your point there, right? It's like, we have Messi in the league, which of course there's a lot of money to bring him in, but of course that's generating, I'm sure we've made it all back in terms of jersey sales. But Messi's in our league. There are a lot more eyes on this league than probably, all the eyes, sum total of all the eyes that have been on the league before, right?
Mhm.
Messi came to the league, arguably, or whatever,
Yeah.
tongue in cheek. However, but the point being, and the article mentioned this, it's like, this is the worst time to have subpar reffing going on.
Yeah.
Because, people are watching Messi because he's Messi, but they're probably looking at our officials like, man, this is awful. Is this the way
Yeah.
the league always goes? And
What kind of clown
Um,
college are we running over here?
yeah. And
Yeah,
again,
I
it's just,
mean, it's not that honestly, I can't say that I mean, other than what you mentioned with our game versus Kansas City, but like, I can't say that I have noticed that many egregious things. I'm sure, someone
Mhm.
more eagle-eyed than myself may, but they cited numerous examples
yeah.
of things that just shouldn't be happening at this level. So, yeah, it's not a good time.
Yeah.
To when the eyes are on you, why are you not? I don't know.
Yeah. I guess covering all my bases, who knows? Maybe with the ref's contract coming due and with Messi being in the lead, maybe they are shooting for the stars and they're trying to play hardball to get a lot more money out of MLS. From the article, it doesn't sound like it's that egregious.
I would think that if both sides' representatives hadn't agreed in principle.
Yeah.
It just seems like there's one answer that will be accepted and that's it. So
Yeah.
again, we only have a few
Yeah.
details, but yeah, it seems like it's not going to end anytime soon. Hopefully that's wrong. And hopefully we get back to having some better reffing.
Yeah, we can hope.
I don't know. I feel like we should end this on a more positive note. I'm trying to think of any other bit of news.
Happy birthday, Chuck and Kate.
There you go. Happy birthday, Chuck and Kate. That's a good
Paul
one.
said
Happy
it with more
birthday, Chucky and
enthusiasm.
Kate.
Yeah.
There you go. We
Paul
don't want
had
to
more
end this
enthusiasm.
podcast on a downer, so let's end on an upper. All right.
All right.
Anything else for the good of the order?
No, I think, let's see what happens Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Looking
one more
forward
green
to it.
team to go, and hopefully, gosh, we need a win. I'd
Would
like
be
to see
nice.
That would be nice.
This AC Richmond pattern is not the best.
I know. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, whatever the future might have in store, we will be talking about it next week. And if you'd like to join this conversation, you can check us out at our website, amorephillyunion.com. Feel free to email us at pod@amorephillyunion.com. On Twitter or X, we are amorephillyu. Instagram, YouTube, Threads, we are amorephillyunion. And on any of those social media platforms, feel free to add us, hashtag us, all those cool things that people do. We have a ever growing and increasingly awesome Spotify playlist. So you can find it on Spotify under the easy
Everything
to remember.
is Austin. Off.
We are a More Philly Union on Spotify in terms of our playlist. Check it out. I'm now gonna have to try to figure out a way to work everything as awesome as this week's song. Actually, related to that, if you want to add us on the social medias and you got a song that you like, you want us to work it into an episode title or something like that, feel free to do that. That would be kind of
absolutely.
fun.
Yeah.
Give us this a little bit of a challenge, I'm just trying to think like, yes, this game they played so well and got so much better. It's like they were climbing a stairway to heaven.
Oh,
Okay, we might not do that, but we'll do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll make it.
Yeah. That, but better.
I'll let Christy and Paul take care of that. That way, it'll be better.
That's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true.
yeah. I don't know if anybody, maybe they haven't noticed that you put so many music references in the episode notes and in social media. Like you two both do a really good job with all of those. I enjoy all the references.
Some of I will admit, some of those references are kind of vague,
Stretches.
obscure, the stretches. But yeah, every episode title, it's either it's songs or movies or books is kind of the theme for a lot of them. Not all of them, but most.
Everything comes together as long as you listen to the pod.
There you
It
go.
all makes sense in the end.
Yeah, it's circular.
Yep.
And if you don't get it, email us. We'll explain.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So yeah, you can get us wherever you get your podcasts. Google for not much longer.
Nope.
I think April 1st, April 4th or something like that.
Something
they
like
shut
that,
down.
yeah. Very early.
So you can get us on the other ones, Apple, Spotify, Podbean, which I've been playing around with, who carries our podcast. And I guess I am shilling for them a little bit, but so far it's not bad. So that's another option. But anyway, keep downloading us. Help us reach that 3,000 download goal for the season, and we'll make our donation to the Philadelphia Union Foundation.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening to another episode of A More Philly Union. We are your hosts. I'm E.
I'm C.
And I'm Paul.
Go
Union! The next chance for there to be a change in stuff will be the games that start in about 20 minutes or so.
Everything is Austin.
Because we all have the same We've all chosen the same things. Up to that
Everything is
point.
cool when it's lit up in green. Everything is Austin.